How's it going, everyone? Today I kind of wanted to do an overview slash review of a certain brand of playmat, and I kind of wanted to give a little introduction to what I want this channel to be. I'm a huge cosmetic junkie for anything, I guess, trading card game wise, when it comes to sleeves, dice, playmats, you name it, I'm into it. Here's just kind of my resume. Multitude of Spellgrounds, Imperium Duelist custom mat, and then I have the Shadal box set playmat, and then a multitude of pyramid playmats, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. I just don't see a whole lot of information about them from the public eye, and so I kind of want to be someone to talk about them. So the way that I'm going to kind of break down this review is going to be into 5 segments. First, it'll be how does it look. 2 would be how does it feel. 3 is the artwork and the stitching, like the outer stitching. 4 would be the packaging slash what does it come with when you buy one. And then 5 would be the price, the secondary market, because the secondary market gets crazy for any cosmetic stuff from deck boxes to playmats, especially on eBay. And then I'll kind of talk about where slash when they're available to be purchased. And yeah, let's get right into it. So number 1 on the list would be how does it look. So I'm going to go through each one individually and kind of show you what it looks like up close. I'm just using an iPhone 11 camera, so it's pretty good quality, but not necessarily the best, but it'll kind of give you a good idea. If you've ever used a cloth playmat, whether it be a Spellground, Imperium Duelist mat, a gem playmat, you should kind of understand like the difference between playing on pad versus playing on cloth. So I'm not going to kind of go into detail on that necessarily today, but I'll definitely show the differences in each mat and the different fabrics that they offer, and kind of just give my own experience and opinion on each of them. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to go through how does it look, feel, the art and the stitching for each fabric, and the mat itself. They're all going to be the same artwork for each fabric, except for the Odyssey Marble. I have 2 different ones, the Tour Guide and the Dark Magician Girl one. So just right off the bat, fabric feels very nice. It's very similar to the Fiberglide, which is the black mats, but this is called their Ultraglide. So I mistakenly said that it was the Fiberglide in its unboxing video, but I guess there's a few differences, but for the most part, it's about the same. The way that they've printed it though, on at least my copies, is there's a negative axis going from left to right depending on which side you're playing on. It shows up more apparent on the lighter colors, but the artwork looks amazing on both of these. I'll show you the silver copy. No issues there. It's got just a little bit of like ripples where it's folded, but that's to be expected with any sort of screen press where it's not like in the fabric like Imperium Duelist or MetaMats playmats. So stitching on the mats, they're all pretty much the same. It kind of just depends on what color you're getting. It keeps it from fraying. It's not noticeable. It's not huge like a braided mouse pad, but there's different colors depending on which mat you're getting, obviously. And then if it's got gotcha stitching, that basically means you get a limited edition, only like maybe 10 to 12 of a certain color. So normally it's gold. I think more recently they did a platinum stitching. And then if you get one with red stitching, then that means it's more so because you won it in like some sort of prize pool, or if you're an influencer. It's just something you cannot purchase. It has to be given to you directly from the company for whatever reasons. But we'll get to that later. Let's get on to the Fiberglide mats. So what's funny is I actually have 2 of the Fiberglide mats and 2 of the Odyssey Marble, so it kind of works out that I can kind of show you 2 different experiences. This one is the purple tour guide of the underworld, or witch guide of the underworld, And then this is the glow-in-the-dark green tour guide mat. This was just from this last 2020 Halloween. And this is probably my favorite fabric between the three, simply because it's more poofy than the Odyssey Marble, and the negative axis, the way that they printed this is on the vertical axis. So the Ultraglide is really, really nice. I feel like it's a little less poofy, but the biggest killer between the two is I can slide left to right with no issue, whereas the biggest takeaway between both of these mats is the negative axis is vertical, whereas on this one it's horizontal. And you can really tell when you're playing that as soon as if you hit it too rough sliding your cards around, the mat will move. With this mat, it doesn't move as much because of that difference. If they just printed it another 90 degrees, then I feel like they'd be really identical. But cards slide amazing on this. So the ink on this, you can't really see in the camera. I can kind of try to zoom in a little bit. But it's not as flush as the Ultraglide, but you can hardly tell by looking at it. I'll flip it over to the other side. It looks completely solid. It's all screen printed, so it's not like burned into the fabric. And then on the purple version, this is the purple version. It's a little darker just because it's purple on black. But this ink is supposed to glow in the dark, which is pretty cool. It doesn't shine like super bright. I wish I could kind of give you like an example. This copy specifically has the special limited edition red stitching, and then this one has the purple stitching. That's just what it came with. This one was given to me, and both of these mats, as well as the third option for the Halloween mats, all came with the gold stitching. And this one normally was green, and if you got the gotcha stitching, it would have gold infused with the green, I believe. So I was not lucky enough to get one of those, but I was lucky enough to get the red stitching. I paid for this mat, so it wasn't like just given to me. So the third playmat that I'm going to be talking about is the Odyssey Marble. This, I believe, is the charcoal version. It's the Halloween tour guide mat that was released this last October in 2020. The other mat that I have is the Dark Magician Girl mat. I've done an independent video talking about this one specifically, but both of the fabrics feel very similar. I feel like this one may be just a little like, not like stickier, but not as broken in as this one, just because I played on this one more. Both of them are very similar, the main difference being the color. I'll fold it over this way. So between these two, I'll kind of zoom in again so you can kind of see up close. When you have the lighter color, you don't see the golden ridges as much. So like you got these golden ridges, you don't feel them. I've talked about this mat in an independent video, so if you want to hear just about this one, go ahead and check that out. But just overall, I feel like the ink looks, I'd say second best. I'd say probably the best the ink looks is on the Ultraglide fabric. This would probably be second, and I like this fabric more than the Ultraglide, but probably it's very close between the Fiberglide. This is going to be more expensive and harder to get. I feel like it's going to be more limited to buy. They also said that they're not producing this colorway of the Odyssey Marble anymore. This is the like ivory version. So if you're trying to get your hands on one of these, your best bet would be the secondary market, which can be pretty expensive. The stitching on this is the amber stitching, and then the stitching on this is the orange. This one came in gold. This one came in like a maroon, and I believe they had gold also. So this one came out in 2017. This one I said came out just this last year. But phenomenal mats. I'll do a little like card slide on each of them real quick, so that way you can kind of see, I guess, how well they slide. And then I'll talk about packaging very quickly. So next, very quickly, I'll kind of go over what you'll receive when you buy one. I have like a huge fold in this, so I guess that's something to be aware of when you're storing them. This is just their mesh bag that they are sending their newer mats in. It's got a nice zipper, and then it says Pvramid on there. I like the design of this, how practical it is at like keeping your playmat clean or safe is another story, but aesthetically, it's very cool, very nice. It's not going to protect your mat from like water, dust, food, or anything that could go wrong in your backpack, or if you're keeping it just stored somewhere. Plastic bag would definitely work better, in my opinion. The older mats came with this box, and I believe you can buy both of them separately, but normally when you buy them, you'll receive a sticker and then their little card telling you to check out their information. But this box is really nice. It's got a nice magnet on it. It's sturdy. It's going to keep your mat from being squished, and it's almost the perfect size to fit in every backpack. It barely fits in mine, but I like using it to transport my mats. So last thing we'll talk about is price. These 4 mats all were, I believe, around $70, $75. I know these ones were $75. These two I want to say were $70 to $75. This one was $80 to $85 because of the glow-in-the-dark ink that it has, which is cool. It's definitely like a fancy thing that you're not going to use very often, and it might not work that great at all, but it was a cool idea, and just the green in general was nice. I don't know what the Odyssey Marble Ivory ran for, but more recently they've ran for like $100. I think when they came out back in 2017, it was somewhere between $60, $70. I could be wrong, but the market was very different back then. When I started collecting mats around 2014, Spellgrounds was the only mat that you could buy, and those were around $35 retail. Resale was around $60 to $80 depending on which version you're trying to get, and that was like version 2, version 3. V1 Spellgrounds were around $500 depending on the quality. That's like just a kind of a happy medium. So the secondary market for Pvramid mats in general, I feel like is very inflated. There's a lot of people buying them just to resell, and they're listing them for $200, $300. I've seen some go for $5 if you have the special gold stitching or gotcha stitching. And I mean, if you think cloth is worth that much and it's something that you missed out on and really want, by all means do what you want with your money. But right now they're definitely the most expensive that I've seen, and I've shopped around quite a bit. And do I think it's worth it? Not necessarily. Do you need to have all of these mats? No. Did I buy these with the intention of reselling? No. Will I end up selling some? I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the line I might get rid of some. It's just more of collecting. I'm interested in trying different fabrics, and for me the artwork is definitely the deal breaker on their mats. Excellent quality. And then I guess last would be like, where do you buy them? So you'll go to their website. I'll put a link down to it below. It's not hard to find. They are kind of doing like monthly releases from what I can tell. So their last one was in December for Christmas. They're doing one tomorrow for Valentine's Day, as well as they're releasing a Blue Eyes mat. Both of them look really cool. I think I'm gonna have to pass on it, sadly, just because money is a thing that, you know, is definitely a factor. Both of them look really cool. There's a variety of options, different fabrics. Make sure you look through and see what you want. You have to be quick because they're all gonna sell out. So that about wraps up this review. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And no one else is really talking about them, so hopefully this was informative to you and I didn't ramble too much. But anyway, thank you guys for watching.